Hi guys, this is Bigger10 and welcome to your 27th Roblox Lua scripting tutorial. And now first of all we're going to start off with a scripting showcase. And the first model has come in from Fireflame09225 or some other numbers. And he's submitted this slightly strange model. Well, I'm not sure for what it does yet, but you have to, it's named !run and you have to put something in lighting. And this thing in lighting is called 1. So it's, the thing in lighting is just part. Obviously, it'd be nice if it ran standalone, which you could make it. You could make the script automatically put it in lighting whenever it starts. So we're gonna just see what it does. Actually, I think this required some instructions. You have to. If you're gonna type in. Anyone can do this. If anyone joins the game and types !run1, and then it loads the. Okay then, I get it. So I'm going to go in. No, I can't test solo. I have to. Okay, this is going to be a fairly tricky one because you can't type in test solo as far as I'm aware. Let's just see if you can. And it's apparent that you can't. And last time I tried my start server and start player, that didn't work either. Wow. Good thing. Server. Someone has now messaged me on League of Legends. Everyone go and add me on League of Legends, by the way. You should play it. Okay. Got the same error as last time. Unfortunately, I can't do it this way. But what I am going to do is, if you just bear with me a second, I'm going to show it with you with Fraps. So this is using Fraps, and now all I need to do is type superscript is !1, no, run 1, and then the bricks will be cloned into the workspace and bounce up and down. They've come from all the way up there because that's where they were positioned originally for some reason. Yes, that's also what I think the script should do, is that it really needs to position these. So otherwise I could just, the map was over here, they just appear off the entire thing. Well, so that's that. So we're now going to analyze the script. I would have just played the Fraps footage. I know I just said that, so I actually remember to play the Fraps footage. Now, so basically what this does, if you say 1 and then it will create the part, so !clone, and when, so first of all it starts here obviously, so this event connects to every player as soon as they enter the game. When they enter the game, it runs this function then, and then it connects them to the chatted event. Now the chatted will fire the function chatted, which is created here. I'm not sure what he's done with this tabbing, it's slightly weird, but it's much easier to read if you do tag the scripts correctly, unless there's some other things. So if return end, you don't, or it's not a necessity. I can't say that, but you don't have to do it. It's just useful. And now I'm going to press insert. There we go, so I can get it back. That's if you find your cursor like this underlying thing, it's because you've pressed insert. So press insert again. Now. Loads one item, game.lighting.1. Now, this is the bit that it could do better. You could have items. So it does do it here. For impaired items do, if it's a model, and then it inserts it in items. You spelt that wrong, so that would error. But I'm not sure where he's got that. That's not of any use. But what he could do is put things in the script to start with, run through the script, run through the script's parents even, and then add them into this items thing, then move them into lighting, so then you could just access all of the parts using items without having to make sure they don't change the name of everything. It's generally better to have what people call relative, ooh, I tabbed this wrong, a relative, I'm not actually sure what it's called. Relative higher. I don't know what it's called. It's just relative to each other. So rather than having to access, for example, rather than saying workspace.ancientball.script, you would dot smoke or whatever, you'd say script dot parent dot smoke. It doesn't matter wherever they moved it, as long as smoke's in the same model as script, it would work. As long as so, it doesn't matter if ancient ball is changed name or for example that kind of stuff. So you should always add it into the model. So now we're going to look at here. It has got the correct amount of ends. I've just missed it. So loading, I can't see anything wrong. We use local variables. That's also good. Is stupid naming scheme, but I can't really talk about naming variables. He's just setting a parent to that, and it's changed. It makes the brick into it. Well, that's good. This person wins 200 Robux. If you could please message me with a link to a t-shirt that's 200 Robux, or shirt or something that I could buy for 200 Robux. Whenever you'd be able to do it the trading system in some way, maybe you'd be able to sell models with the trading system, I'm not exactly sure, but this is a Swift trigger. So now we're going to go on to the scripting tutorial, which is minigames. Just didn't work for some reason. So now, as I said in the last tutorial, no one submitted a minigame to me, so if you can submit that, I'll post the details on the description again. Basically, if you make a minigame in the format that is described in scripting tutorial 24 or 25, and then it will be featured in this, and the game will actually be published eventually with all the minigames that you submitted, so together we'll create an actual minigames game. So we're going to, at the moment, first of all we need to create a leaderboard. Now a lot of people probably don't know how to create a leaderboard. We're not going to create a fancy one, we're going to create the standard Roblox leaderboard. Now the standard Roblox leaderboard is the one that comes up. It used to be this big ugly grey thing that's going up and down the side, but now it's this thing which you can hide. You can press tab to show in the middle of the screen, or you can just have in the corner up here. And it's using the new Roblox's GUI, well not so new anymore, the GUI scheming thing. So I'm just going to zoom in, because I remember last time I tried to get it to display in high quality, it took 70 gigabytes. So now none of this is going to be irrelevant, except we've got, actually no, we haven't got anything at all in here to do with whenever a player enters. Now we could create another script, I suppose, to do this, but then we wouldn't be able to. We could store all the players and data, so it's better to do it in this script, because then we can store different kinds of tables, whether the players are playing or not playing or spectating, and we're able to store and give them points relevant to that. So we're going to create the leaderboard in this script. So what we need to create a leaderboard, how it works is that when we look in any sort of place, in the players it'll be the player, and inside the player there'll be an int value called leader stats. I'm not sure if it has to be an int value, I would have to check that. But inside the leader stats you can create any other value object which will then display the title, which will be the name of the object that we used, and the value, which will be the value of the object. So it'll display, if you name the object inside leader stats cake, and then set its value to 2, next to the player on the next to the player on the GUI that would be up here, it would just show cake 2. And so we're going to create that today. So what we need to do is whenever the player joins the game, we're going to need to create leader stats in his models. Now we won't be able to test this, unfortunately, unless I use Fraps to record the other bit, which I won't do today, but I might do another time. So if it does break, and then I will, in the next tutorial, show... Actually, no, I'll test it after this tutorial. If it does... Actually, no, I won't, sorry. I'll test it... If it does break, and then in the next tutorial, I will show you why it's broken and stuff, but I won't be able to test it this time, except for syntax devs. So what we're going to do now, we're going to create function player added, because we might need to do some other stuff when the player's added. There could be lots of other things. First of all, we're going to make this after this part, just because it looks nicer. Now, player added, it's obviously going to be the player here. So inside this player added function, we're going to make the leader stats object. So we're going to do local leader stat LD is instance.new. Now, so many times do I type instance.new leader stats, but instance.new int value. Now, if you don't know what an int value is, I might have showed it to you before. I'll just click on any random part. Insert. Oh, actually, I was clicking on workspace on the inner part. Insert object. Just find it. Int value here. I'm not sure if you're able to see, but this basically is an object which just holds a value. So at the moment, this is pretty much the only way you can communicate between script. So, for example, if you're a local script, because obviously you can use global variables. I'm not sure if you know what they are yet. I haven't taught them to you, but I'm not going to teach you in the near future, even though they're not that complicated. But basically, if you want a script to say something to another script, you can use global variables. But if you want a local script to talk to another local script, another player, or another normal script, and then you have to use these values. There's basically no other way of doing it, which I think Roblox needs to improve on, and I think they realise they need to improve on as well. There's no really inter-script communication. That's just a bit of moaning at Roblox, which I don't usually do. So basically just as an object just holds a value, for example. This value could be anything, like 5 or something. Wouldn't make any difference, it's just something to store data. So we're going to back into this. Instance a new int value, and obviously we're going to create it. Actually, we're not going to set a parent to it yet, because, I don't know, we can set the parent to it after we've created everything else. So now we're going to create what we want to be points, obviously. So local points, it's going to be instance.new int value again, but the parent of this is going to be leader stats. Then we're going to set the leader stats parent to the player, and the function there. So there's obviously going to be more stuff we need to do. So this is basically going to create the leaderboard. It's not going to be able to do anything, but it is going to create the leaderboard. So actually no. First of all, we're going to need to name points, because at the moment it's just going to say value. So points.name. Actually, it's not. They don't usually call it points. It's got money, isn't it? Money and leaderboard. I don't know. I'm just calling it money. ld.parent equals player. So now we need to set up the event. I'm going to put all the events at the bottom of this page. So no, not because it's after the main loop. So I'm going to put the events at the bottom of the page before the loop. Because remember what I did last time was, oops, didn't need to delete that. Was put everything below there, and then the loop never stops running, so it never gets there. So I'm going to do game.players.player added, which is the event. Connect. If you don't know what events are, you can go back to the events tutorial. And then what do we mean? Player added, I'm assuming. That's what I normally aim this. So that will create the leaderboard. And now what we want to do when the leaderboard is there is obviously award the points to the player. So we're going to find the player 1. Not the number 1, this function 1. So player 1 m.when.value. So now this is going to here, if I can find it, the player won the minigame. So at the moment all it displays is player has won the minigame. Actually, I think we can test leaderboards. Hang on, I'm just going to see if we can do that now. The tool test play solo, and I'm pretty sure we can test that. I'm not sure if they work very well. For some reason I thought it needs to be in online. Nope, it's not going to show, but is it there? Ah, that's what I forgot to do. So, as you can probably tell, you need to leader stats. Does it say there's nothing about a leader stats? I've been saying leader stats the entire time, so we need to name it. Name, and leader stats is spelled like this, if you don't know. And before I show you the test, I'm going to show you a nice Wikipedia Roblox wiki page made by Anonymous, just to demonstrate how the leaderboards work. So this was originally a bad page, so I'm going to show you here. So this here is the players service, which is the same as the thing we have here. So this is players. Inside there'll be a player, and inside the player you need to create leader stats, and then something called leader stats like that. And inside there'll be KOs, and inside there'll be wipeouts. And so basically what that will show is the leaderboard with the title on one the KOs, and the title of the other one, wipeouts, and the value bit. So player, then KOs, wipeouts, blah, blah, blah. Like you would know. There we go. That's how it looks. So that's useful from Animiner. So now I'm going to actually show R1 that we just made. Oops. There we go. See, it says money and 0. So that's basically all there is to making leaderboards. So now we're going to award the points. So there may be a slight issue with, no, not an issue as such. Player 1. What we want to do is award the player points. Now, obviously, we might want to award. We don't just this person's won. Then that means he's going to get so many points. We might want him to get more points based on how quickly he's completed it, or more, or points based. Basically, we want all the mini games to be able to run not run standalone, but we don't want this script to have to determine any of the. So we don't want this script to have to go. Well, if the mini game, if it's minigame 1, and then detect the amount of time and then given points based on that. We don't want this script to be able to have to control the mini games and award the points based on mini games. We want all the mini game scripts to do that themselves. So that this script, all it does is the same for every. This script needs to be doing the same thing for every single minigame. The same script, that is. So awarding player to m.winner.value, not or awarding the points based on something in a minigame. We don't want it to be going, if minigame is swords, then award the player 100 points. Else, if minigame is flying, then award 50 points. We don't want that to be happening. We want the same code to run every single time, but just to have it based off a value in the minigame. So now we're going to use player 1 here, and we're going to add another argument to it, points. So the points now we're going to make is the actual amount of points. Obviously we need to actually tell it what the points is at some point, but at the moment we're going to increase the player's points. Now, we're going to do this a fairly old-fashioned method. There are lots of model minigames, if they have extra features and such, they might store all the different details in a table. We may improve this later, but for now we're just teaching you the basic concepts so you can get to grips with how to do this stuff. So all we're going to do is inside leaderboards, or inside the player first, player.leaderstats. Well, first of all, we just need to make sure there's a failsafe. Actually, we don't. I was going to say that if Roblox gets exploited and someone deletes the leaderboard, this might not be here, but we're going to assume the place hasn't been hacked, because making an efficient hacking protection tool is actually very, very difficult to do. It's basically the way to, this is just going off topic a bit, the way to make an anti-hacking tool is to make something which detects when not prevents it completely. It has to detect when something has gone wrong in the place and then fixes it, which is very difficult to do. Actually, it may not seem like it, but it's very difficult to do well. If I tried to do it correctly, then it would just end up being a complete mess and lagging the place. Player.leaderstats dot money value equals. And I want to plus it by 10, so I should have probably done something, but for now I'm just going to copy it. Nah, let's make it actually seem neat. It's a scripting tool. I'm supposed to be teaching people, not doing what I do myself. I have a feeling there's some kind of issue with setting something to a value, because that will change the variable if we do that, and it won't actually change the actual value. So if we set something to value, I'm pretty sure it'll only change it'll change what money means, but it won't change the actual value of the money, if you understand what I mean by that. Oops. Player.leaderstats.money.value and be deleted. Money.value equals money.value plus points. Now wait 3 then destroy it. So now the player will get extra points. So if the player goes into a shop or something, we can just base it off the the leader stats thing. So now we're going to go back to wherever we... Here we go. So it says if m.winner.value, then player1 m.winner.value. So remember we need an extra argument, so we need to tell it the amount of points. So we just typed 100 in there. There we go. It'll award 100 points for each minigame. But we don't want that. We want it to award a different amount of points for each minigame. So what we're going to do is go into our minigame thing, to our pigs. It's got time and winner. Insert object. And then we're going to call it an int value wherever int value is. Oh, I've got it selected already. So, points. So basically this script here, the script inside the minigame, is going to decide how many points the player should get and change the value of this. Now obviously with all of these we could use some cool string compression and compress it down all into one int value and be all clever, but that's outside the scope of this tutorial. Basically what I'm saying is you can use a string value and then have lots of different weird characters and that'll all mean 0.0 time 120 and winner whatever. Actually the winner's an object, so that would be fairly difficult to do and it probably wouldn't be the best idea to do it, seeing as you'd need to base on name, but whatever. We're going to just do this when the player wins, and then we're going to just... So we're going to award the amount of points based on the amount of time it has left in this one. So script.parent.points.value equals player, no, equals script.parent.time.value. So whenever the player wins, it'll award an amount of points based on how much time it has left. So if it has 100 seconds, it'll give them 100 points. So now this is going to be m.points.value. Now did I do that correctly? I'm just going to make sure I actually added dot value. A lot of scripters forget the dot value. I do it so many times and wonder, because that comes up with a error message that if you're not particularly experienced doesn't really mean anything. And now I'm going to just test solo to see if this works. I probably should have pressed play to see if there's no syntax errors first, actually. Doesn't look like there is. Good. Okay, so we're going to be teleported to minigame. I can't remember how long we made it wait first. Here we go. So if we get it quickly, we should get a lot of points. It starts at 2 minutes. Player has won the minigame, and look, we got 114 money. And so obviously, I'm just gonna add one little nice feature, which is going to be where are we? There it is. Has won the minigame and earns. Now what I'm going to do here is use the same operator here to dot space. Oops. And points. Now we could, if you're a smart person, you might have realised that this is actually a number. You can't display numbers in text. We might need to use the function toNumber, which you don't actually need to do. If you're displaying something in text, Roblox will automatically call toNumber on it. Now, if you don't know what that means, it doesn't really matter. You just need to be concerned. If you don't need to, you just do this. This is all you need to do. And earns points. And earns that much money, because we're calling it money in this game. Tools, test, play solo. We should probably make the waiting time down just for the purposes of this. Money 0. We're going to wait. Apparently, in the new Roblox Studio that's coming out is going to have features to debug online. So if you want, you don't have to do tools, test solo, because that breaks for me. 114 money again. Does that actually change each time? Let's just check. The minigame's not here. It should. Oop, not there either. As you see, whenever I die, the leader stats stay here. I'm just going to wait a bit now. I'm pretty sure it was just because I did it in exactly the same speed both times, because we made it an integer value, not a number value, and so it doesn't just take off like 0.3 each third of a second in the minigames. Yep, it definitely is so. This is how much time we have left and earns that much money. So, thank you for watching this scripted tutorial. In the next tutorial, we will be... Now decide on a day. We'll be doing something different. I'd probably be adding a shop or something of that sort next time. Actually, yeah, that might be quite interesting. In the meantime, get going on the contest which I put in the description. Basically, it's to make a minigame. I'll put the minigame in here, so we can actually have a minigame rather than a walk along a green bench and collect a bench. Walk along a green platform and collect your money. That's what it is at the moment. But we need to have some minigames, and remember, there's a substantial reward. It's like 1,000 robux. I'll put the details in the description. You don't have to. You make sure it works with the script, so you have to have points, time, winner. If you don't want to have points, you don't have to, because that wasn't in the original last week's, but points in last week's the contest that I set up last week. Minigame. This is a script. I'll just show it for a few seconds, and I'll probably post it in the description as well. This is a script I have at the moment. You have to use the same script. This is just awards. This is takes the time off by 1 every second, and awards the first person who touches a certain brick the winner base, and gives them an amount of points that's alternative. But you don't have to use this. You can do something completely different. You can set him to the winner whenever he kills everyone else, or that's very difficult to do. So, thank you for watching this script tutorial. Don't forget you can like the video if you like the video, dislike the video if you dislike the video, favourite the video if you think it's the best video you've ever seen, which I probably wouldn't do it myself. But you can do it anyway, so come on and do this. I don't even know what to say now. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.